Hey there, my name is Tom Gattuso. I work at CYO Camp Rancho Framasa, and today we're going to show you how to make a rosary out of cord or kind of thick twine. If you don't have any, I'm going to provide a link down below in the description to a couple of different places. I just bought this whole big spool off of Amazon, I think for like $25 or $27, and it came within 3 or 4 days. But there are plenty of other sites that you can buy it off of. The other cool thing that I really like about cord or twine rosary is you can really get creative. They make plenty of different color patterns, so you can really kind of customize it, make it unique to you. I do have some examples. I actually made my wife one when we were dating, and one of her favorite colors is purple. So I found this really cool purple and green cord that I was able to make a rosary for her out of, and those ended up actually becoming our wedding colors, which is kind of cool. There's also I made this. It's kind of camouflage color rosary, so you can kind of get everything. I've seen Our Lady of Guadalupe colors, a lot of different stuff. Today we're just going to kind of be working with olive drab, just pretty plain. So what you're going to want to start off, we just need to measure it out. The best way I've kind of done this, you want 3 long or full arm lengths. So boom, 1 and 2 and then 3. All right, once you get the third out, all you have to do is just simply cut it. But there is kind of a little bit of an extra step here, so just cut the twine. Don't put those down yet, otherwise they just kind of fray. And then they just kind of go everywhere and they become unwieldy and difficult to work with. So take a lighter and you just kind of got to singe the end. Hold it on there. You'll see it melt a little bit. Be careful touching it. It gets very, 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 very hot. So I always lick my fingers just to kind of cool it off. And it gets really bulby, kind of like that. So what I end up doing is, personally, I don't like that, so I try and flatten it out a little bit. That's just a personal preference. You don't have to do that. But all right, in just a minute, I'll get you down looking at my hands, and we'll start making it. Rosary cord that's cut, and we're ready to go. So the first thing you got to do is find the center of the cord. The easiest way to do that is just bring the 2 ends together, hold it, and then just kind of run it straight through your hands until you come to the center. All right, so here's the center. You're going to start off first by making just one of your first rosary beads or rosary counters. So the way to do that is pretty simple. I'm left-handed, so I'll try and do one right-handed in just a second, but I'm going to at least start this one off left-handed. So the easiest, or the way I do it is I just kind of let it rest on my finger. I hold it down, and then I loop it around, and then I cross it back on itself. I go 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now from here, you're going to take this piece, and it's going to end up going right where my finger is, straight back through that hole. So all I do is I just kind of push it there, hold it, slip my finger out, and now I have it kind of right there. It's that one poking up through. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to poke it through. And I kind of got it all messed up because I was watching through the phone and not watching my hands. All right, so we're going to pull this through, and you're going to pull it all the way through. Now, the best thing to do is try and keep all of these in line as they spin and as you tighten down the knot. So you can pull, right now, pulling both ways works. So keep going, and then pull tight. There you go. And there is one of your first Hail Mary beads right there. So this is actually going to end up being in the 3rd decade, because what you'll do is you're going to form the 3rd decade right here, and then you're going to do the other 2 on the right, and then the other 2 on the left, and that'll create the 5 you need. So now once I'm here, I try my best to space them out evenly. It unfortunately never works out perfectly for me, but I do my best anyway. So the way I do that is I put the rosary bead right kind of in the center of my index finger, and then I start the wrap around my finger here, kind of with that right around the center. 1, 2, 3. and then I push it through. And I'll demonstrate that a little bit slower one more time. So then again, now that we have them formed, you can kind of pull both directions still, but definitely you want to keep it a little bit closer to that instead of having it all the way over here. So I pull more on the long end than the short end. When it gets closer, I kind of pull both, and then to finish it off, I'll grab this end and kind of pull it back that direction to kind of snug it up near the other bead or counter. I'm not exactly sure what to call these. Knot. I'm just going to call it a knot because that's what it is. All right, so again, I'm going to try and do this right-handed, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to flip it over. So to do it right-handed, again, I hold it kind of right in the center of my finger, and then I'm going to wrap once. And then the key part here is to cross it back over itself. And then it crosses back all the way. So once, twice, and 3 times. So I want these all to be laying next to each other. Okay, so now trap it here. Now I'm going to pull my finger out. And this piece right here, I want this to come right up through that hole I just made. So you can kind of see it right there. I'm going to pull that straight up through here. And then it comes all the way through and then out. Okay, so now again, I want to try and keep these in line. This is going to have to go pretty far back over. Again, I'm not used to doing this right-handed, so we'll try and get it over to where it needs to be. Okay, that didn't end up too badly. There we go. And I'm going to pull it tight, pull it over, and that's actually not too bad. Okay, so I finished the first decade here. There's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I did actually throw a piece of tape on the first knot that I made. This should help give you a frame of reference as we go through and make the rest of the rosary, kind of where and how we form it. So again, this is going to be our 3rd decade right here. So this is going to be kind of at the top of the rosary. And now I like to space my knots pretty close to each other. That's just a personal preference. If you want to make that spacing a little bit wider, obviously that's totally up to you. This is, if you decide to make a rosary, it's your rosary and you make it how you want it. So now it's time to put the Our Father beads on either end, or the Our Father knots on either end. Instead of putting it kind of in the middle of my finger, what I do is I try and go a whole finger gap. So that's just, again, me personally. You can do it whatever way you want it. That's just kind of how I reference it. So instead of the Our Father knots, also instead of doing 3 wraps, you're going to do 4 wraps. So it's going to be a little bit bigger of a knot. So if you're not looking, you're not looking while you're praying, you'll be able to pretty easily distinguish, if not by the space, by the size of the knot. So I have my finger length. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the more wraps you go, sometimes the harder it can be to keep everything straight as you push that cord through, as you push the end through. So now we have 4 kind of circles here to keep track of. And sorry, I keep drifting over to the right there. So I'm just going to try and do my best, and I've already kind of lost 1. There we go. And if you get to a point where you mess up a knot and it's just not looking right, don't be afraid to stop it and don't tighten it down all the way. You can loosen it up, back it out, try and finagle it. It's a little bit harder once you really torque it and get to set that knot. It can be a little bit tough to untie. So yeah, there's your Our Father knot now. So again, it's right about a finger length. I'm going to tighten that guy down. There we go. So there's 1. So you have the Hail Marys, Our Father, and then again to start the next one, I'm going to do another finger length, and I'm going to do obviously a Hail Mary here now. Okay, so here we are. I have gotten the 5 decades finished. So again, here's kind of that reference, the one we started with. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our Father. The next decade, so another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And Our Father, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We go the other direction, so that was the first one. So those were that 5 right here, this half. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That makes 10 total on this one. Our Father. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right there. The Our Father. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if we look at it, we have most of a rosary here. And actually this one didn't come out too horribly. It's not perfectly even. Right up here, there's a little bit, it's off a little bit, and right there. But you know what? For going as quickly as I did, it's really not too bad. Okay, so here's what you want to do at this point. So what we're going to do, you're going to draw these out. And naturally, I would say 9 times out of 10, you're going to have one side that's pretty significantly longer than the other. So you can see, yeah, this side is obviously a lot longer coming back. So what I'll do is that's going to be the side that I complete my Glory Be, my 3 Hail Marys, and my last, the Apostles' Creed on. So that's going to be there. But before we get to that, the last step in creating this loop, you're going to take both of these cords together now, and you're going to basically do a knot with both of them. You can do a 2 or a 3, or if you really want to go crazy, a 4 wrap knot. I typically do 2. I've only done 3 one time. It's very difficult to get all the cord kind of sitting right and where it needs to be without it twisting over. So again, sorry, I'm drifting off to the right there. So what I'll do, I make sure these are even, put it in my hand just like I'm going to do a Hail Mary or an Our Father. I'm going to wrap once, twice. I'm going to be really careful to make sure these all stay right in place. Going 3 times gets pretty tough to keep all that straight. So I usually just do twice. Pieces of cord through. There's 1 and there's 2. All right. So now there's the tricky part. It's keeping all this in place. Okay, so now we're going to go back and find our longer piece. So this one right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip this shorter piece off again. So again, we go back, we grab the shorter end here. Not the longer one, we're going to grab the shorter. And I'm going to snip it off. And not cut my phone charging cable. But I'm not going to cut it right up there. I'm going to leave just a little bit, and I'll show you why I do that. So I'm going to leave just a little bit there, because now when I burn it, I really want to make sure it's singed and that it won't work its way back through. So I kind of singe it and try and melt it around so it doesn't work its way back through that knot. Again, that's just kind of what I do. It's personal preference. So, right here, we're going to do another 4. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to tighten that down. Yeah, all right, it worked out pretty well. Okay, so that's my 4 wrap. That'll be my Glory Be. And then I'm going to do my 3 Hail Marys. We're just going to kind of go through them quick. One thing to mention, if you do end up wanting to space your Hail Marys out a little bit more, I would definitely make sure you leave yourself a little bit of extra cord. So instead of going 3 full arm's lengths, maybe go 4 or 3.5 or just something a little bit more to accommodate the extra space you might have in these. I got a little impatient and I started pulling a knot through and I kind of untangled my braiding a little bit, but that shouldn't be a problem. We'll go through that. So right here, I'm going to make my last, this will be the Apostles' Creed, and it'll be a 4 wrap there. So this is kind of where I went wrong. There we go. Now it came through. All right, so we're gonna wrap this. Okay, now is the time we begin to bring this cord back into play, but we're gonna get this tightened up first. All right, so now we have kind of two options. We don't really have a whole lot of extra room to play here, but we're gonna try it. So for the cross, here's what I do. I make just another Hail Mary, so 3, and you know what, this time I'm just gonna do a 2 wrap, I think, because I don't have a whole lot of cord left. Let's see. We're gonna make this one a little bit closer to the Apostles' Creed here. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna set that down. We're gonna take this extra piece that we have here. Oh, and I forgot to singe that side. Ooh, that one's definitely a little hot. Like I said, this is just a personal preference. You don't have to get it flat and pointy like that. It's just something I like to do. All right, so now right below the cross here, we're going to try and get that even, and we're just going to simply tie an overhand knot. And I want to try and keep this as even as possible. So try and make sure there's as much on the other one side as the other. And we're going to tie it down tight just below the top of our cross here. And now all we're going to do is we're going to make knots on each end. So if you can go 2, if you can go 3, however much you can go. Our cord here again. So I think I can still do a 3 wrap on this. So sorry, I'm just going to finish off the cross with what we have here. I think I can do that. 1, 2, yeah. Just barely, but I'll be able to do it. All right, and now again, I'm going to get this way high up there because this is our cross. There we go. That's kind of a little cross, but it's a cross, and I might actually be able to do like one more wrap on there. Can I get 2? Here we go. There we go. There. That's looking a little bit more cross-like. Still not the best, but you know what? It works. So we have a cross, our Apostles' Creed, 3 Hail Marys, the Glory Be, and then our Rosary. I'll pick up the phone here and we'll show it in its completed form. But first, I'm going to snip off the excess pieces. So again, I always leave just a little bit more. Oh, sorry, I'm not doing this in front of the camera. I always leave just a little bit of extra on the end. Again, just so when I go to burn it, I kind of smush it in. And now I know that's not going to, let me see if I can get a focus on that. There you go. I know that's not going to pull itself back through the knot. All right, there we go. There's our completed rosary. Again, for reference, there's the knot we started with. We built one side, then we went down the other. We tied the center knot here. The Glory Be, Our Fathers, Apostles' Creed, finished off with the cross. Yeah, I hope you guys, I hope this is informative. I hope you can learn how to make these. It definitely can be tough to start off with. Took me a long time to be able to just kind of crank through them. But they're a really great project for friends, family, gifts. If you want to make them for youth groups, nursing homes, stuff like that. Just a really cool, pretty inexpensive way. That big 1 pound spool that I have will definitely make probably 20, 30 different rosaries. So yeah, hope you guys all have a great Easter week and have a great weekend. Thanks. God bless.